Hello, I'm Geetu from THiNC Institute of Design, and today I'm back with another video on English grammar. The topic for today is direct and indirect speech. What is direct speech? You might have seen this when you are reading a novel or a short story. You see how a character says something and we quote it exactly as it is, the same words. So direct speech is when we quote someone's words using the quotation marks. For example, Maya said, I am happy. You can see here the words I am happy said by Maya. So we write it as it is, just like how the person says. So this is direct speech. Another example, my friend said my father is not well. And one thing you have to keep in mind is when you are writing the direct speech, you have to use all these punctuations. After the person said, you have to put a comma, and the exact words that the person said should be inside the quotation marks. Plain and simple. This is direct speech. Now, what is indirect speech? Indirect speech is also called as reported speech. It's basically just gossiping. If someone says something and we hear it and we are reporting it to another person, that is indirect speech. We look at the same sentence. Maya said, I am happy. This is in direct speech. When we convert it into indirect speech, we say, Maya said that she was happy. My friend said, my father is not well. In indirect speech, it becomes, my friend said that her father was not well. So in this video, we are going to study about how we can convert the sentences from direct speech to indirect speech. We'll be learning it by rules. Let us look at the first rule. The first rule is that you have to change the pronouns. That is obvious. I am tired, he said. When he says it, he can say that I am tired. But when we are reporting it, when we say this to someone else, can we say I am tired again? Because it is not I who said that, it is he. So, if he says I am tired, when we change it into indirect speech, it becomes he said that he was tired. So, this change in the pronoun happens here. She said we are late. She said we are late. When we report it, how do we say that? She said that they were late. I said to her, you should practice more. Now, one thing you have to remember is that when we come with situations like this, said to someone, in indirect speech, it becomes told. I said to her becomes I told her that she should practice more. So here I have given a table which shows how the pronouns change. I becomes he or she. He or she becomes him or her. We, they, us, them are there. So these are things you have to keep in mind. So just go through it, and this is the first rule. Change in the pronouns. Now what is the second rule? The second rule is that there will be a change in time and place as well. Look at the example here. Renu said, these sketches are for the portfolio. Renu said, these sketches. There might be some sketches with her and she's looking at those sketches and saying, these sketches are for the portfolio. But in reported speech, what does it become? It become, Renu said that those sketches were for the portfolio. So, these became those. Next, the instructor said, please stand here for the test. Here becomes there. The instructor said to please stand there for the test. She said, the test is today. In reported speech, today becomes that day. My boss said, I will review the portfolio tonight. My boss said that he will review the portfolio that night. So it's not just the pronouns that are gonna change, the words which refer to a time and place, like these also change. Today becomes that day, tomorrow becomes the next day, yesterday becomes the previous day. So if you want, just take a screenshot and you have to by heart this. There will be a change in the words which refers to the time and place also. So I hope you guys are clear with the two rules. What was the first rule? There will be a change in the pronoun. If someone says, there is a girl called Maya and she is saying, I am tired, in reported speech, when we hear this and when we are saying it to someone else, it is she was tired. It's not I, she. So that's the first rule. Change in the pronoun. Now what is the second rule? The words that refer to a particular time or place, like today, yesterday, these words also change. What is the third rule? The third rule is that there will be a backshifting of tenses. All these sentences, they will change into a past tense. Preeti said, I am cooking pasta. Preeti said, I am cooking pasta. Which tense is this? I am cooking. I am doing something. Present continuous sentence. It is a present continuous tense. So, Preeti says, I am cooking pasta is in present continuous. If you heard this, just imagine you heard this and you are repeating it to someone else. You are reporting it. You are saying this to someone else. What does it become? It becomes, Preeti said that she was cooking pasta. When Preeti said that, it was in the present tense. But when we heard this and when we are reporting it to someone else, it becomes a past continuous tense. Next, we have been working for a long time. They said. We have been working. What does it become? It becomes, they said that they had been. You have to take the past tense of have. Had been working for a long time. Next sentence. Ru said to me, I made dinner. What does it become? It becomes Ru told me. When there is an object, when you say to someone, when there is an object, it becomes told. Ru told me that I made dinner becomes she had made dinner. He said, I may submit the form tomorrow. He said that he might, past tense of may, might submit the form the next day. Veena said, I can sketch this design. Veena said that she could sketch that design. It's not this design, that design. So, words, you can see here that there is a change in the tense as well. Look at this table. Okay. So, this is the third rule, backshifting of tenses. What did we learn so far? We are learning about converting sentences from direct to indirect. What is the first one? You have to change the pronoun. Next, you have to change words if there are words related to time and place. Third one, backshifting of tenses. Now, what can we do when you are faced with questions? In direct speech, there is a question, and how do we convert this into indirect? Okay, we look at the first case. He said to me, what are you wearing? This is in direct speech. He said to me, what are you wearing? So, this said to here, it changes into another word, asked. Here you can use words like asked, enquired, demanded. It is according to the situation. So, you have to look at the situation first. And in this case, it is, what are you wearing? So, we can use asked. He asked me, what are you wearing becomes what I was wearing. So, this is a question here, but in indirect speech, it becomes a statement. Next sentence. Where do you live? Asked the boy. The boy enquired where I lived. So, if we have questions and you have to convert it into indirect speech or reported speech, you have to use words like asked, enquired and demanded. Then, if it's a yes or no question, you have to use if or whether. Example, she asked, do they live here? What is the answer? It's a yes or no. Do they live here? Yes or no. In this case, she asked me if they lived there. Here becomes there. So, when you are faced with interrogative, when you are faced with questions, you have to make use of words like these, asked, enquired, demanded. You have to make use of words like this, and if it's a yes or no question, we'll most probably be using if or whether. Okay, this is the fourth scenario. Next, exclamatory sentences. What are exclamatory sentences? Sentences that express strong emotions. In these kind of sentences, you have to remove interjections like oh, wo, alas. These are the interjections, words which we use to show some kind of emotion. So when we have sentences like this, we have to remove the interjections. We have to remove those words and use verbs like exclaimed, shouted, or cried with emotion. So we will be removing words like these, which makes that sentence an exclamatory sentence, and we will replace it with verbs like these. Okay. What a delightful scene, said the tourist. The tourist exclaimed that it was a very delightful scene. An exclamatory sentence changed into a normal statement. If I were a king, you would be my queen, he said. He exclaimed that if he had been a king, I would have been his queen. Oh dear, I have cut my finger, said Susan. This is an exclamatory sentence, but when we are changing it into reported speech, we made use of a verb, sighed. Susan sighed and said that she had cut her finger. Next, we can look at sentences with request or commands. We'll learn with examples that will be better for you. First one, she said to her, please complete it. In these cases, you have to look at this sentence and you have to find out what kind of modulation is being used here. Please complete it. It's a request. You are requesting that person to complete it. So, she requested her to complete it. Hamid said to Ramit, sit down. Is that a request? Sit down is a order. It's a proper order. So, Hamid ordered Ramit to sit down. Let us go for a film, he said. Let us go. It's a suggestion. So, he suggested that we should go for a film. So, in sentences like these where we give a request or a command, we have to make use of words like these. Requested, ordered, suggested, advised. The word which we use, the verb which we are gonna use is dependent upon the situation. So, you have to look at that sentence and find out which word will be better for it. Okay, I hope it's clear. If yes, then we can move on to the next slide. So, till now, we were looking at sentences where the reporting verb was in the past tense. What was the reporting verb there? It was said. If you look at the sentences here, you can see that. She said to her, Hamid said to Ramit, if I were a king, you would be my queen. He said. In these sentences, what do you see? Everything is, the reporting verb is said. Said is in the past tense. So, when you get sentences like these in direct speech and the reporting verb is in the past tense, that is when we have to make all these changes. We have some exceptions. What is that? If the reporting verb is says or will say, says is in the present tense, will say, future tense. So, if the reporting verb is in the present tense or in the future tense, there will be no change in the tense. She says, I'm going. In indirect speech, it becomes she says that she is going. That here is optional, but still for academic purposes, when you are writing exams, it is best to use that. Okay. Then if it is a future tense, if it is will say also, she will say that she is going. So, if the reporting verb is in the present tense or in the future tense, there will be no change in the tense. Then, he said, we cannot live without air. He said that we cannot live without air. Why there is no change in the tense here? Because it is a truth. It's a universal fact. So sentences like these, when we are referring to a universal truth or a habitual action, there will be no change in the tense. So these are the two exception cases you have to remember. One more important thing for students really interested in design, THiNC Institute of Design is offering you a foundation batch. This batch is exclusively for students who are from 8th to 12th standard. So if you want to know more about this batch, you can simply call us or just text us in WhatsApp in the number given here. So moving on to the last part of the section, we'll look at some questions that were asked for the NIFT exam in the previous year. Okay, so the first question. Convert the following sentence from direct speech to indirect speech by choosing the correct option. Swiggy said, "May I have some fries?" So this is in direct speech. You have to convert this into indirect speech. What might be the answer here? First one, when you are facing questions like this, when you have options to choose from, it is important that you read all the 4 options. Swiggy wanted to have some fries. Swiggy asked to be given some fries. Swiggy asked if he may have some fries. Swiggy asked if he might have some fries. So these are the 4 options that are given to you. You can look at the option here. Swiggy wanted to have some fries. This is not conveying the meaning of the sentence properly. So we can eliminate that thing. Swiggy asked to be given some fries. Swiggy asked if he may have some fries. Swiggy asked if he might have some fries. What might be the answer here? Swiggy said, "May I have some fries?" This is a question. So most probably in the indirect speech, it will become asked. Swiggy asked, "May I have some fries?" I told you, when it is said, when the reporting verb is in the past tense, you have to backshift the tense by 1. So instead of may, the answer should be might. Swiggy asked if he might have some fries. This is the answer here. Okay, I hope you are clear. So the second question, you have to change the sentence into direct speech. The sentence given here is in indirect. Anjana asked Nitin if he could solve that sum. It is in indirect speech. You have to change it into direct. So you have given here 4 options. Anjana said to Nitin, "Can you solve this sum?" Anjana asked Nitin, "Can you solve this sum?" Anjana asked Nitin, "You can solve this sum." Anjana said, "Nitin, can you solve this sum?" So which seems to be the right option here? We can eliminate a third one because it is "you can solve the sum." It's not even conveying the proper meaning of that sentence. So we can eliminate that option. Then said Nitin, it seems to be incorrect. Anjana said Nitin. So that is incorrect. Grammatically it is incorrect. Then Anjana asked Nitin. You have 2 options here. Said to Nitin and asked Nitin. In direct speech, the most accurate word will be said to Nitin. Anjana said to Nitin, "Can you solve this sum?" In direct speech, when changed into indirect speech, will become Anjana asked Nitin if he could solve that sum. So option 1 is the right answer. Another question. Change into direct speech. He exclaimed that the scene was very lovely. You have to change it into direct speech. He said, "How was lovely scene?" He said, "The scene was lovely." He said, "How lovely the scene is." He said, "How lovely the scene was." So you have 4 options and you have to find out which is the right one. He said, "How was lovely scene?" Grammatically incorrect. We'll eliminate that option. He said, "The scene was lovely." It doesn't sound like an exclamatory sentence. It's just simply stating the fact. He said, "How lovely the scene is." He said, "How lovely the scene was." The only change we can see here is and was. Since it is the reporting verb here is in the past tense, when we are changing into indirect speech, it should become the past tense. So, only when the sentence is how lovely the scene is, only in this case we can see the was here in the indirect speech. So, the answer is option 3. He said how lovely the scene is. Moving on to the last question, change into indirect speech. He said, my God, I am ruined. 4 options. First one, he explained sadly that he had been ruined. He exclaimed sadly that he was ruined. He exclaimed sadly that he ruined. He exclaimed that he has ruined. When you read the options itself, you can find out that 3 and 4 is not going to be the right one. You have first and second one. He explained sadly that he had been ruined, that he was ruined. So, which is the answer? My God, I am ruined. It should backshift only by 1 tense. I am ruined will become he was ruined and not he had been ruined. So, this is not right. Second one is the right answer. So, he exclaimed sadly that he was ruined is the answer. So, with that, we have come to the end of the session, and I hope that direct and indirect speech is pretty much clear to you. In case you have any doubts, you can just ask us in the chat box. So, this is Geetu signing out. Until next time, bye.